Hi folks, the Filipino P here, and it's finally time for another Mailbag Friday. I always enjoy reading your questions, and I'm flattered that you turn to me for advice when it comes to your relationships with Filipinas. And as always, we've got some good ones. A man who's in an unacceptable position with no way out. A Filipina who's on the warpath because of a dream. And a man whose girlfriend made a surprising offer at bedtime. So sit back and get ready to hear a bunch of people's problems. Just be glad they're not yours. So let's start with Dan T. from the US. Dan writes, Hi P, I've got a really unusual situation. I'll be the judge of that. I think I've heard just about everything by now, but you guys keep surprising me, so we'll see. I'm fairly young compared to a lot of people on your channel. I'm in my mid-40s, but I look and feel a lot younger than that. After I went through a bad divorce, I decided to try something different by looking overseas to find the right woman. I fell in love with a wonderful Filipina online and came to the Philippines to be with her. We lived together in Manila for about 5 months and everything was as perfect can be. I feel like I did everything right as far as taking my time and getting to know her, and I didn't see any red flags. Her family never asked me for money, and I never caught her in any lies. Good for you. I like the Philippines okay, but I want to live in the US where I can work again, so it was my idea to bring her back with me. I was just about to propose to her when it felt like my whole world collapsed. Her health suddenly went downhill and she was diagnosed with a debilitating condition that may ultimately be fatal. She'll require constant treatment for the rest of her life, and of course, she can't afford it without help. I stayed with her for another month, but I had to return to the US to go back to work. I'm currently taking care of all her medical bills. But now what? I truly do love this woman, but I just don't know what to do. I'm not rich, but if I tighten my belt, I can continue to care for her for the foreseeable future. She can't come to the US and I can't live forever in the Philippines. So the best I can do is to visit her when I'm able. Before you ask, this is not some elaborate scam. I was there when she was diagnosed and I've taken her to the hospital for treatment. I researched her condition and talked to her doctors, and what she's going through is real. I could never have imagined a situation like this, but what can I possibly do? If I stop supporting her, her life will be a very short one. And I truly do love her. She's an amazing woman, my dream woman. But at the same time, I have to be realistic. Any ideas? Any help? I've asked my friends and family, but I didn't like what they had to say. Well then, I have to say that's the most heartbreaking email I've ever gotten, and I'm so sorry for you both. Right now, my mind is racing in 1,000 directions because this really is a Sophie's choice. So let's take a look at your options. You can support her for the rest of her life and either try to visit her until you could retire here. But the Philippines isn't where you want to live, and retirement's 20 years away, so that's out. You only dated her for 5 months, and you weren't married. So you could turn your back on her and try to forget her, but I don't think you could live with yourself if you did that. I don't think I could either. You could pay her bills, but move on with your life and look for a different partner. But you're still in love with her, and you might always be. So your feelings would have to change before you could consider doing that. Oh, Dan, I'm afraid this is the first time in history that I'm truly speechless. I just don't know what to say. I wish I had some great advice, but I truly don't. I think that ultimately you'll have to do what's best for you, whatever that turns out to be. I think for now, I just keep the status quo until my head cleared. As long as the bills aren't causing you to drown. I know that medical bills, the expenses here are not that expensive. It's relatively cheap here, so maybe that's an option. Geez, I really feel like I'm letting you down here, but maybe some of the folks in the comment section can come to the rescue and think of a solution I missed. I'm sure there's gonna be some really harsh suggestions, but just read them anyway and let's see if there's any good ideas. So please, guys, come on, let's help Dan out, okay? And I really want you to write me back and tell me what's going on. Again, Dan, I'm truly very sorry. Whew. Well, that was depressing. But let's see if the next email lightens the mood a little. So the next one is from Gary from the UK, who writes, P, I've been suffering with the company of my Filipino girlfriend for the past 2 weeks, and it's through no fault of my own. In fact, it's all in her head. One morning, I woke up to find her not speaking to me, what you call tampo. Despite my best efforts, I couldn't get a word out of her, so I assumed I must have done something horribly wrong. Had I blurted out my ex's name in my sleep? Did she misunderstand something she found on my phone? After hours of this most unfair treatment, she finally unlocked her lips and accused me of cheating. Now, I spent almost every waking moment with this woman, so you can imagine my surprise when I found out it wasn't the waking moments that were the problem. It turns out that she had a dream that I was flirting with my dermatologist. What? She even admitted it was a dream, but it seemed so real that she decided I must be guilty, thus deserving of the punishment. Talk about thought crimes. I admit that my dermatologist is a beautiful woman, and I'd recently had her inspect a suspicious mole in a delicate area, but I would never even consider ever trying to be more than a patient. Okay? I can handle my girlfriend's tampo, and she quieted down a bit, but only after I agreed to find a new doctor. What? Is this in any way normal behavior? You've talked about how superstitious Filipinos are, but surely they know the difference between reality and dreams, right? Okay, well, Gary, it's definitely true we're superstitious, but I doubt that's what's going on here. If I had to guess, and I do have to guess, I'd say it's a combination of 3 things. A cute doctor, an intimate inspection, and a jealous Filipina. I know this sounds really immature to you guys, but I can't say enough about the legendary Filipina jealousy. Now you're British, so speaking of code, you'll understand. Maybe, just for a millisecond, your girlfriend caught you checking out the doctor's crumpets. Or maybe she's worried that a cute woman got her hands on your Big Ben. Now, I don't know how long you've been dating, but she might not be past the initial insecurity phase, which for a Filipina can last anywhere from a few weeks to when she's putting flowers on your grave. If that's all that seems to be wrong with her, I'd probably just laugh it off and get back to sleeping peacefully. But pray she doesn't have any nightmares, because you might have to pay for it the next morning. And remember to get a new doctor. A cranky old man should make her happy, but if he ever gives you a prostate exam, all bets are off. And finally, we have Goran J. I hope I pronounced that right. From Sweden. Goran writes, Dear Miss P, I've been living with a Filipina here in Tagbilaran for only a month, so we're still figuring each other out. There are many differences between our 2 countries, but I'm learning your culture and some of the language. Things are going quite well, but a week ago, she mentioned something that seemed very wrong to me. She told me she didn't mind if I used her body while she was sleeping, but it sounded like more than just an offer. It sounded like a request. I changed the subject and went to sleep, but last night, she brought it up again. I told her that was not something that interested me, that it was considered wrong where I came from. And I asked why it seemed so important to her. She just said she wanted me to be happy and content whenever it pleased me. But it makes me wonder if that's a common practice here. It's not a problem between us. I'd just like to know about this. I really enjoy your videos and look forward to your reply. Okay, Goran, I'll do my best. Well, I'm glad to hear that the 2 of you are working out the kinks, but it's possible there's another kink you didn't know about. In many Filipino relationships, sex is often done quietly while the couple pretends to sleep, because there can be other people in the room, or at least within earshot. Due to a lack of communication, I bet some of that goes on, but it's not something I'm aware of being a cultural tradition. So maybe, for her, it's just a personal turn-on. Now, I don't know anything about your intimate life, but does she seem to enjoy it when you're both away? If she's less than enthusiastic, maybe this is her way of avoiding it and hoping to sleep through it. But since you said everything was going just fine, I doubt that's the case either. I'd be more inclined to take her offer of sleeping booty at face value. She's just eager to please you any way she can, even if it means going deep when she's asleep. Now, I understand that's not something you want to do, so don't. Just tell her you'd rather wait till both of you are fully conscious so you can enjoy it together. But who knows? Maybe this really is common, and I just don't know about it. I guess I could conduct another poll like I did with holding the lumber while you slumber. And if I do, I'll post my findings. In the meantime, Goran, I wish you and your girlfriend both the best. Well, that's it for this episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back on Tuesday with a rather unique interview of myself. Till then, folks. Okay, folks, this part's just for fun, but since we're talking about sleeping booty and what happens after you fall asleep, I thought I'd mention a couple dreams I've been having over and over, like more than just a few times each. Now, I don't take dreams very seriously, but it's kind of interesting to see where your mind goes when it's free to roam around. I don't think they're omens or anything, but there's probably a reason I keep having the same ones. The first one is this creepy, never-ending house. If you open a door, it just leads to a different room, like a dining room or a kitchen, and then a bedroom. But there's no way out. And on top of that, I know something's chasing me. Something that I can't see. I can just hear these heavy footsteps like Mr. X from Resident Evil 2, the video game, or that robot cowboy from Westworld. It's really creepy and it's scary. He knows every room I run to, and the dream always ends when I try to hide somewhere, and he walks right up to the place where I'm hiding, like under a bed, and then I wake up. It's not a good dream, so I wish I'd stop having it. It's almost like a nightmare, But the good thing is, I don't wet my bed anymore. Good to know, right? No, just kidding, folks. Anyway, this next dream is the exact opposite, though. This is my favorite, and I've had it twice in the last month. It's always nighttime, and I'm outdoors in the middle of the road. I start running, and then I jump, and then I can fly. I can't get too high, like maybe treetop level, and I don't go very fast, but it's like I can just float around the neighborhood while I'm looking down. I know I'm afraid of heights, but it kind of, feels good if you're just dreaming. If you ever had a flying dream, then I probably don't have to describe it, but it's almost, orgasmic, and you feel completely weightless and peaceful. I know it's so ironic because I'm so afraid of heights, but when I dream of flying, it really feels good. And then if I wake up when I'm having it, I try to fall right back asleep and get back into it, but I never can. So anyway, folks, maybe somebody knows what those mean, and if you have any idea of how you can get out of a scary dream, please let me know. So, thanks for listening, and see ya.
Are you ready? Because it's time for a word from your captain. If you've abandoned ship in the West and you're looking for a Filipina first mate, just listen to your Captain P and you'll be shouting, "There she blows," in no time at all. There's nothing like the Philippines to put a little fire in the hole. And if you join me, crew, I'll get you there, right as rain. So subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you hear about any course corrections. And check out my Patreon page for exclusive vids and features. And for all you new seamen, stay off me poop deck. Don't be asking me to blow the man down. And keep your hands off me booty.